We just finished Blake's amended complaint. My goodness, took us 7 hours all in, but we finally finished. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we noticed.
A character based on Justin Baldoni, mocking him, basically. So with all the backlash from that.
Wayfair, Justin, and his partners, apparently they reached out to apologize and assure this woman, the other accuser, that
says that other women were made to feel uncomfortable by Justin Baldoni.
The ongoing legal feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken another dramatic twist, leaving Blake's team scrambling after Baldoni's latest lawsuit amendment. What was once a behind-the-scenes dispute on the set of It Ends With Us has now become one of Hollywood's most heated legal battles, with both sides trading serious accusations, exposing text messages, and unleashing a flood of media statements.
Remember Blake tried to pressure Justin into releasing this statement? This actually, so she and Ryan, her people, wrote a statement, and they wanted Justin to release it. This is around August, when the movie's coming out, to release this statement as if it were his. Here's the statement. It Ends With Us was a troubled production, which we take full accountability for. So she wants Justin, here Justin, read these words as if you wrote them. We just want you to put this out there and everything will be fine. We are very sorry to everyone we upset privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, the entire cast and crew. They led with professionalism every step of the way. Any negativity aimed at them is ours to own. We mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately.
Baldoni's new filing brings fresh evidence to the forefront, allegedly including damning emails and texts that has reportedly sent Blake's legal team into damage control mode. With millions of dollars at stake and reputations hanging in the balance, this high-profile battle shows no signs of cooling down. As Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, finds himself increasingly pulled into the controversy, public interest is skyrocketing. What exactly does Baldoni's amendment reveal, and how is Blake's team reacting to these mounting pressures? Let's break down the latest twists in this Hollywood showdown.
In almost like an interview style where Justin was being interviewed about his life in the past year or so. It was actually filmed in November, which if you guys don't know, November was right before the kettle boiled over and all the legal action happened, but it was after they had already gone through the turmoil of filming the movie. So it was kind of in that in-between stage where he couldn't say too much because the legal hadn't been legaled yet, but it was after it was already tough on set. And so he doesn't, expose anything because the legal action hadn't been taken, but he definitely talks about how rough that year was, how anxious he's been, how even his family know and could tell that he was going through a lot. So this is the episode 137, Justin Baldoni, Sorry Is Not Enough, Healthy Masculinity, It Ends With Us, and more. Gents Talk episode.
Fresh reporting from The Hollywood Reporter has shed light on the complexity of the case, exposing details that Blake's team had hoped would remain under wraps. The outlet claims that several of Baldoni's accusers, previously thought to be minor players in the case, now hold significant roles in the lawsuit. This revelation has reportedly caught Blake's legal team off guard, as new testimonies contradict earlier claims made by her side. The newfound evidence has complicated Blake's defense strategy, forcing her team to reconsider their approach as pressure mounts from all angles.
We just finished Blake's amended complaint. My goodness, took us 7 hours all in, but we finally finished. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we noticed, but we also got to talk about this. Now the Hollywood Reporter has seemingly outed the two actresses' names. They're pretty much being bullied to respond. We got to talk about this. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. I'm here with Kim. Man, it's been a long show, eh, Kim?
Yeah, it's been a lot, but it's important. We got to go through everything. You got to look at everything. So, we definitely saw a lot more about the retaliation campaign today, while we read the documents going into things even more current up until January of this year. So it was an interesting read to go through everything. Did see some comments, which essentially I guess you could say would be evidence, obviously, that things did happen.
Maybe this got blown out of proportion more than they ever really wanted to or expected to. And now that their names are getting called out in the trades, it's going to affect them in ways that, did they ask for this? Should they have been outed like this? Should they have been pushed to this level, Blake? Why? Because you got some bad press in August? That you did! The press in August, she puts in this thing, guys, this downward spike. This is when Kirsty's interview came out, when she was caught advertising booze and naming an alcoholic drink about one of the characters in the movie. You were absolutely tone deaf. Even if Justin's team planted some of it, it's still your actions. You gotta be accountable for your actions. Two things can be true.
As the legal drama unfolds, more journalists are questioning Blake's public narrative. While she has painted herself as a victim standing up against misconduct, some reporters suggest there's more to the story. Industry insiders argue that Blake's lawsuit is not as clear-cut as she claims, hinting at behind-the-scenes conflicts that may have contributed to the fallout. This skepticism in the media is creating challenges for Blake's PR team, who are working overtime to keep her public image intact.
Character based on Justin Baldoni, mocking him basically. So with all the backlash from that, why would you go on SNL and make fun of the situation? I just, who are the people that are close to them that are recommending them to do things like this? It's just, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, you're lawyers. Would you recommend your client to do that?
Well, no. But the one thing that hit it for me, Shasti, was actually something you observed, and I think you did this in one of your podcasts yesterday. Kevin Costner and I think it was Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
And Robert De Niro's down in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and Kevin Costner's in the background. Boy, they did not look amused at all. They looked like they couldn't care less about what was happening. They weren't paying attention. They could have looked easily to see what was going on and just simply chose not to.
Yeah, they were unamused, just sitting there like chewing on their gum and like.
Blake's decision to amend her lawsuit was intended to strengthen her case, but it may have backfired. Legal experts suggest that the amendment introduced inconsistencies and opened the door for Baldoni's legal team to pounce on weaknesses. Baldoni's amendment directly counters Blake's claims, using newly surfaced communications to poke holes in her allegations. Rather than putting her in a stronger position, the amendment appears to have left Blake's team scrambling to cover exposed vulnerabilities.
Wayfair, Justin, and his partners, apparently they reached out to apologize and assure this woman, the other accuser, that adjustments to protocol would be made. Blake alleges the only adjustment that ended up actually taking place was that he went and hired a crisis PR team and litigators and digital manipulators, whatever they are, to smear her. Then Blake's lawyers quote Steve Sarowitz, who runs Wayfair Studio, is partners with Justin, and is a very rich man, a billionaire. They quote him as saying, "I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas."
Ryan Reynolds, who has largely remained on the sidelines of the legal proceedings, found himself dragged into the spotlight after a joke he made during Saturday Night Live resurfaced. Legal analysts are now debating whether his comments could influence public perception of the lawsuit or even be used in court to demonstrate a lack of seriousness about the allegations. Blake's team is reportedly concerned that Ryan's offhand remarks are adding unnecessary complications to an already tense situation.
Says that other women were made to feel uncomfortable by Justin Baldoni. Being made uncomfortable is not a crime, or I have the IRS thrown in jail, okay? Because once a year they make me feel very uncomfortable. And B, how can you say these other people? How can you represent other people? I mean, can you? How is that possible?
They can.
Could Justin Baldoni's team take that clip, like you said, out of context, and present it to a judge and say, hey, you told us we needed to keep our mouth shut. This is clearly in reference to the drama that we have going on in court right now. We want you to shut this down. Or can it be used as a way to say, well, that's interesting that a husband's not taking a sexual harassment a lawsuit seriously. Do you think that could backfire in any way?
I think right in the court of public opinion, it's fodder right now fast forward 6 months, a year when this is supposed to go to trial. This is not going to be, you're not going to present this to a jury. And look,
With the lawsuit heating up, whispers of a downfall for both Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are gaining traction. What was once seen as an isolated dispute is now being viewed as a potential career-altering scandal. Public sympathy for Blake, once strong, appears to be waning as new information emerges. If Blake's team doesn't regain control of the narrative soon, the long-term consequences could be devastating.
So Blake Lively has just filed her newest lawsuit, and I have to be honest with you guys, after reading it, I am more disappointed today than I was on August 16th, 2009, when I realized I wasn't really getting a letter for Hogwarts. And I think at this point I should also probably sue Blake for printer fees in addition to silencing me. But regardless, there is still a lot to get through, so let's do this again. So let's quickly start with SNL because I didn't get a chance to tell you guys my opinion on what happened. In my opinion, I believe that Ryan Reynolds begged Blake Lively to go as part of their ongoing scheme to sort of assert dominance and show we're not backing down, we're innocent and whatnot. And I think in order to do that, I think that he intentionally misled his wife and told her that the joke was just going to be basically where they just ignored what was happening.
To make matters worse for Blake, an old interview has resurfaced that appears to contradict key elements of her lawsuit. While she claims to have been uncomfortable with certain scenes and on-set interactions, the interview shows her praising the production process and praising Baldoni's directorial style. This inconsistency has become a talking point for Baldoni's team, who argue that Blake is changing her story for legal advantage.
That filing, her lawyers claimed that Jed Wallace was hired by Baldoni's PR team to assist in an alleged smear campaign against Lively. It was claimed he weaponized a digital army around the country from New York to LA to create, seed and promote content that appeared to be authentic on social media platforms and internet chat forums. The following day, the New York Times published the investigation repeating those claims of a smear campaign, and in January, Baldoni launched a legal action against the Times disputing those reports. He is also countersuing Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds. So in the new lawsuit filed by Wallace, his lawyers claim that Lively's legal team has conceded that Lively has no facts supporting the allegations she has made against Wallace and Street in the precursor, which made headlines around the world.
New documents submitted with Baldoni's amendment include statements from other women who worked on the project, some of whom challenge Blake's version of events. These alleged testimonies claim that Blake's accusations are exaggerated and that her conduct on set was also questioned by some crew members. With more voices entering the fray, Blake's team must navigate an increasingly complicated web of competing narratives.
If this is real, if this situation really happened and this complaint to HR is real and everything happened like it's said in here, I have to believe that the woman that filed this complaint had been ticked at Justin before. Like, I know for me personally, one little incident doesn't usually make you go straight to HR. It's usually when you're fed up. Now, was this person fed up because he was doing inappropriate little things and this was like it? Now you've actually put your hands on my backside.
One of the most significant developments in the amended lawsuit is Baldoni's presentation of new evidence, including emails and text messages that his team claims vindicate him. The communications reportedly show that certain allegations made by Blake were either misunderstood or taken out of context. This revelation could prove to be a turning point, significantly weakening Blake's case and raising questions about the integrity of her claims.
So Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds then pissed me off so bad. Y'all, there's no wig. I already took my nails off. I just need some Vaseline. Somebody hold the earrings, because we ride at dawn. When I read to you this statement that they wanted Justin Baldoni to sign off on and to release to the press and to make a public statement about this and own this. Let me read it to you. August 12th, 2024. Statement prepared by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds on behalf of Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfarer. It ends with us, a troubled production which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, and the entire cast and crew led with professionalism.
Perhaps the most damaging blow to Blake's team came when newly released texts and emails suggested that Blake and Ryan may have misrepresented certain facts. Baldoni's legal team claims the communications expose inconsistencies in Blake's lawsuit, painting her as someone willing to bend the truth to support her narrative. This development has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with fans and industry insiders alike questioning the couple's credibility.
No. Blake Lively is way more powerful and has way more say than a lot of people in this industry. So I'm not just accepting that card because she's playing it. It gets even more crazy as they go in. She wouldn't shoot when the strike started, even though they were ready to go, and she was allowed to shoot. They got permission from the union. She wouldn't do it. And then there's a bunch of other sort of stuff that's just really weird. I wanted to go to this part where she's basically, during the strike, after the movie starts, which was the harassment phase, if you believe everything Blake's saying, she's writing him.
With Blake's lawsuit compared to Justin's, and that context all matters. And I do understand the logic of being like, it doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is what people believe and what they see in the public. And I think so much of this case has been about media manipulation and those types of discussions. I will say, I think it's really difficult when Blake has started this saying that she has all these instances of harassment, and we're seeing them allegedly have video evidence that she's not accurate in what she said. And at that point, I fast forward in my brain to a potential jury trial, and I don't think the jury is going to respond well to that.
Beyond the legal drama, Blake is reportedly facing significant financial consequences as a result of the ongoing battle. Endorsement deals are rumored to be on hold, and projects have been delayed or cancelled. While Blake claims that Baldoni's actions have hurt her career, critics argue that her legal strategy may be contributing to her own professional setbacks. With millions of dollars potentially at stake, the pressure on Blake's team to find a resolution is intensifying.
As I have stated many times, Justin Baldoni's lawyer is also my attorney. Show business is a small world. Brian Friedman has also repped Megyn Kelly, another person that's been talking about this because everybody's been talking about this. But his attorney has not given me any information, and he's not influenced me in any way. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think he and some of the players are watching my content and I'm influencing them. I mean, I was named in 2 of the lawsuits. I'm not so much of a loser has-been troll to, I mean, maybe I'm still a troll, but I'm not so much of a has-been today. Here we go again, no receipts.
Justin Baldoni's latest lawsuit amendment has turned the legal battle with Blake Lively into a full-blown public spectacle, leaving Blake's team scrambling to respond. With new evidence surfacing, including texts, emails, and testimonies from other women, the narrative Blake initially presented is being challenged at every turn. Ryan Reynolds' involvement, once peripheral, is now under scrutiny, adding further complexity to the case.
And using that as an example, because that only shows that Blake Lively is behaving badly. That's the only thing it shows, and that people picked up on it. And for them to say, oh, you were all brainwashed to believe she was rude in that interview, because I don't know.
Right.
I mean, she was
rude.
You can
see it for yourself. Yeah, you can sit there and watch it for yourself.
Shesty, if you got a phone call tomorrow from Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and they invited you into their home and they had you sit down and they made right what happened with the interview with you, and then they asked you, you know, how do we get out of this? How do we resolve this? How do we make this all go away? Is there a path forward based upon your experience in Hollywood? And by the way, I've got a list here.
While Blake's amended lawsuit was intended to strengthen her position, it seems to have had the opposite effect, exposing vulnerabilities that Baldoni's legal team has been quick to exploit. Public opinion is shifting, and with financial consequences mounting, the stakes for both sides have never been higher. As Hollywood watches closely, one question remains. Can Blake's team regain control of the narrative, or has Baldoni's latest legal move sealed her fate in this bitter courtroom battle? The next developments could be career-defining for everyone involved.